Hi folks, how you doing? Russell, TrueResults303.com. Check out the website. Link in the description box. Mind, body, spirit, fitness. Putting the healing back in health. Once again, check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there, True Results 303. No E, don't let autocorrect get you. Coming at you today with my Beast Spartan Race Beast Experience. Here it is. Here's the medal. If you don't have one, shut up. I don't want to hear it. We just did it yesterday. Okay, what's today? This video is not going to come out today, of course, but August 27th, 2016, and it's August 28th. We did our race yesterday at 10:15, about 10:30. Right now it's 7 in the morning the following day, so there it is. The race. The Beast. Colorado Breckenridge. So, what do you need to know? Right? The one thing you need to know is, in my opinion, it's just run. Do a lot of running. If you've already have a decent background of lifting, you know, like me. That's why I say decent. I mean, I'm not the biggest dude in the world. You know what I mean? I can't bench press 270 pounds. I can't squat 400, none of that. But it's run and do a lot of hill runs, especially for the one here in Colorado. Other than that, I mean, I only had to do 60 burpees, and that's because I have sweaty-ish hands. And the only two obstacles I failed were the monkey bars, and then at the end they have what people were calling the rig, where you go from a bar to a rope with knots and then rings that you can skip. So those are the only two I failed, and I failed literally right into it, just because my hands, they were too moist. That's probably the only time you might need gloves. My client Ken, who if you watch my fitness videos, he bought some gloves, and on the rope climb, I think it actually hurt him. You know, he was so close, and he probably could have jumped up and hit it at the last second, but that means he would have fell, 20 feet to the ground and probably jacked his knee up or something. So, and with that, like, he would slide, and then he would come back up. And he was kind of using the foot thing. I didn't have to use that foot, whatever. I just muscled it up. I didn't even use my feet. I got the spear throw. Like I said, just hills and hills and hills. And I don't know, it might just be Colorado because ours was at Breckenridge, of course, in the mountains. But like I said, it's just hills, hills, hills. And that's about it. Just running in hills. Running in hills. That's kind of funny, right? At least to me. But other than that, and like I said, the worst part was Sandbag Mountain. It was right before we got to Sandbag Mountain. I'm running with one of my buddies. We broke off. It was my cousin Dustin was with my client Ken. I was with my buddy Gary, who actually won the whole thing out of our little group. And then I'll explain that a little bit later. And then it was my buddy Drew and my cousin Davey were together. So him and I were running, and we were at mile 8. I think it was about 8 probably, maybe 7, something like that. Halfway through, it was 14 miles, maybe a little over 14, 30 some obstacles. And I told him, this is pretty easy. It's not bad. I mean, my legs were cramping up and things like that. I said, but this is easy. This is pretty easy. This is just like a regular hike. None of the obstacles were too insane, in my opinion. They were all fair. Like the walls, even that one wall, I think it was a 10 or a 12-foot wall. I mean, I just went up to it. Like, people were running, like, kicking their foot off the wall, trying to grab. I just ran straight up to it, planted my feet, jumped straight up, grabbed it, and it was over. So the walls didn't affect me at all. There was probably, though, about 6 of them. So we helped a couple women over the walls. But that Sandbag Mountain, no, that was no joke. That was the steepest part and the highest point in the course. And somebody told me that sandbag was supposedly 100 pounds, 120. I don't know how heavy that sandbag was for the men, but oh my goodness, that hill was so freaking steep. And then you have to walk back down. And like I said, it's just a sandbag, and it's on shoulders. You're dropping it on the ground. You're picking it up. You're bear hugging it. There are people everywhere dropping it on the ground. And then just after that, done sauce. You know, it took so much out of you to climb that thing. And then even before the race, they're saying, "Oh, and once you get to the top, enjoy the scenery." It's like, no, once I got to the top, I felt horrible. You know, and then the bad thing was after that, you didn't even get water for probably another mile and a half. And by that time, you're just walking anyway, so you don't get water for another 30 minutes, 40 minutes after that. So that's one thing I would say. Maybe take a Camelback. I didn't take a Camelback. Um, you know, I just had a water bottle at the beginning when I finally got done drinking. When I got tired of carrying it, I just threw it in one of the trash cans at one of the water stations. But it seemed like there were more water stations at the beginning than there were at the end. You know, the first, I'd say the first 9 miles had all the water stations, and then the last 3 miles, 4 miles, where there was only 2 water stations if you were lucky, maybe 3. So you might want to think about the water pack. And then the funny thing with my buddy Gary is, him and I were going. I was like, dude, let's just leave these dudes because we, you know, it's like we're already on a roll. And he's like, Drew's my ride. I was like, well, it doesn't matter. We're all gonna meet at the bottom. What does it matter? He's like, Ken's my ride, and we left him a long time ago. So he didn't want to. So then we started waiting. It was the 4 of us. So Gary would finish the first, then I would finish, and then we'd wait for Drew and Gary to finish. And then one time, I can't remember what happened. I think Drew might have beat me or something in one of the obstacles because all of a sudden I was like, "Where's Gary?" He's like, "Gary said he's tired of this crap. He doesn't care. His legs hurt. He's just running. He doesn't give a damn." He said he's leaving us. I was like, I was trying to get this guy to do that like a freaking hour ago. But the cool thing was, like I said, there's a lot of camaraderie out there. We ended up teaming up with a female marathon runner. I think her name was Cheryl, something like that. Here in Parker, she was a pharmacist. She'll probably never see this video, but shout out to her. You know, so when we had a big downhill run, we followed her and we just ran with her. And that's when my buddy Drew caught up with us because he was back with my other cousin and my client. And that's how he caught us. He's like, I knew if I didn't run my ass off down this downhill, I wasn't going to catch you. So it was, then there was a big wall, then we had to go do another little mini hike through and then do that under. That's what I would recommend as well. They have that inverted rope where you got to hang like this and pull yourself, and I would recommend you wear long socks. I didn't wear long socks, and actually it's not too bad today, but I didn't wear long socks. I don't know if you can see that scab. You can kind of see it right there, that darkness. Let's see here. No, can't get it. I'm not flexible enough to even move right now, fellas. Sorry, you can kind of see it. But it rubbed all my skin off. So I would say long socks, just because my buddy Gary dominated that. I looked over me since I didn't have long socks. I ended up hanging there. And unfortunately, my GoPro, so I'll have a video, my buddy gave me his GoPro, fell off during that one. And that lady picked it up, but she didn't tape me. She didn't pick it up and start filming me, so I don't think people caught it. But I was just hanging there upside down because I had both knee braces on just in case. So I'm hanging upside down and I'm trying to pull this knee brace down while hanging with one hand. And finally I got it down, and once I got the knee brace down here, then I just put the rope on the pad or the cloth of the rope, and then I just slid because my buddy Gary, he just locked his legs like that with the rope going through, and he crushed that one in 7 seconds probably. He just stomped right through it. So wear long socks or wear those underpants, something to where if you do get that obstacle, you'll be able to get through it better. You know, it's not going to be, you're not going to have this big old road nasty rash thing like I do. Other than that, like I said, if it wasn't for Sandbag Mountain, it would have been easy, to tell you the truth, if it was for Sandbag Mountain. Like I said, for me, if I just had gloves during the monkey bars and those types of things, other than that, I didn't fail any tests. It was pretty easy, you know. But Sandbag Mountain, after that, it was all over, and it was just hills. And we're running with people, and these people had done, you know, 10, 15 beasts, and they were even like, this is the worst one ever. It was the worst one. I heard one guy say that the only one that was worse was Fort Carson. He said if you'd done Fort Carson, that one was worse. He's all Sandbag Mountain was worse because they have one where you have to carry a bucket, like a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket, paint bucket, and you can't put it on your shoulder. You just have to bear hug it and walk. And you have, of course, the men have to put more dirt in it than the women. And he said supposedly the Fort Carson one was like that, but Sandbag Mountain. At least Sandbag Mountain, you can switch side to side and you'll be all right. He was like, no, you had a bear hug, but that bucket was nowhere near as heavy as that sandbag. That sandbag was ridiculous. But once again, I definitely encourage people, man. You get there to the finish line, it's freaking awesome, man. There were people limping on one leg. There were people that were just beat to crud on this thing. But I think it was a great experience. You know, talk about mental toughness. So my buddy Gary, like I said, he ended up ditching all of us towards the end, probably the last 3 miles. So he probably finished in about 5.5, I would say. 5.5 hours maybe. We finished in 6. Me, Drew, and Davey. And then Dusty and Ken finished in about 9. So there it was out of our team. We had that 5.5er, might have been 5:20, something like that, because Gary said he ended up meeting up with some marathon girls, and he was just following their pace, running with them, like we did at the beginning, or in the middle with that other lady. So we had Gary in first, and then the 3 of us. Everyone else was able to do all the monkey bars. At the end, there was the 4 obstacles at the end. So you had to do that slip wall, they said. Then you had to do those stupid monkey bars, which I couldn't do, so I had to do 30 burpees. Then you had to do that underwall, underwater. And then you had to do a long barbed wire crawl, and then the fire one. So I ended up coming in 4th because I had to do those 30 burpees at the end, and that's what my cousin said. I looked up, I got done doing my burpees, and it's like I waited for these fools for every dang obstacle for like this last 6, 7 obstacles. And then I look up, get done doing my 30 burpees, and no one's around. I was like, oh, evidently. And that's what my cousin said afterwards. He's like, I saw you doing burpees. He's like, I didn't give a crap. I just wanted to finish the race. It's like, I can't hate on you, cuz. So it is what it is. But once again, great experience. I'd say give it a go. Whatever you like. But like I said, I don't care if it took you 15 hours. If you haven't done it, shut up, you know. Oh, and then once I get my video out, unfortunately, mine only lasted through 8 miles. And I took my buddy's advice, and I only videotaped pretty much the obstacles. Every once in a while, I would just take a scenery shot, you know. And some of my obstacles were even a little bit longer than just me, because I was with friends, so I was videotaping them performing the obstacles. So I only got 8. I should have took, so if you're with the GoPro, because I saw people just plop them on their head, and they never, you know, they never took them off. But my buddy told me I probably only had about a 2-hour battery span. But for me, like I said, I was turning, just stop recording, and then I would run, and then once we get up to an obstacle, I'd put it on. So you'll be able to see some of the footage. That's going to come out as well. But the one thing I would do instead is turn it completely off. I just had it in standby mode to where it was still powering. So I think if I would have turned it completely off, it probably would have lasted. Or maybe take yourself a spare battery. You know, my buddy didn't have a spare battery. It was last minute. I picked it up Friday at like 9 o'clock, and we had to leave at, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. But there you go. There's my experience of the beast. If you ain't done it, shut up. And this was our first one. We didn't do a sprint. We didn't do a super. We went straight for the freaking beast, all right? So that's what you do. You just go straight for it. So, once again, thank you. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. True Results 303, no E. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share and like these videos.